what is the problem with the because he can have onboarding people giving the inputs, whether he can have try prices for the
No,
full.
the onboarding is like, okay, whenever you, okay, let's say you have Chase want to, I'm telling you now, Chase, okay, I'm interested, I want to purchase it, right? All the steps that he has to do, that's part of the onboarding. Like we need to streamline this onboarding process. So you don't want to have any interaction. Let's say you pay, I don't know, $15 or $20 or whatever the pricing per month. You don't want to have like the interaction with it. When I say you don't want interaction with the client, if I'm paying and now the next message is, okay, Chase is gonna reach out to me for the setup, that's no go. That's wrong. You have too much friction.
We just have to push to ask the customer to push the as he said, 7-8 emails per tone of voice he would like to have, so he can construct his tone of voice.
No. I'm not speaking about the onboarding, like the onboarding as we speak. I'm just saying, like I'm speaking, for example, how do you set up the account? How do you set up the account for each user, right? A user would not actually want to hop on a call and say, now log in every day with your Google emails on something that I don't know. Your emails is actually the most personal stuff that you have beside your social media at one point, but you have a lot of stuff on your emails that you might not want to see. So that's the whole idea. How do you connect a Gmail account to the N8 workflow? That's bottom line. That's the point. Inbox 0. Oh, it was. Yeah, I saw the dude. Itesh. I saw the guys actually. Forget his name, but I'm a huge fan of Inbox 0. Before I moved to.
Yeah. He's pretty cool.
Yes. It's a pretty interesting over there. I actually love it. I use it for years. I can't actually follow now anymore, but it's a very good way. I used to like the fact that you keep your inbox as your to-do basically, and then move whatever you have from there to your classified. That's good. All right. Does anybody want to actually share another blueprint, or we just go carry on and we host me on GitHub? Let's see. You have another one?
So,
okay, carry on.
Building.
Carry on.
If you need a break, Quentin.
No, it's good. I mean, I'd love to. Yeah, I don't mind. Carry on. Just go ahead. I want to see.
Okay.
It's good to be able to step away as well from all the building. So yeah.
Cool. So this one is not going to be as useful, and I'll actually show the second one as well and run through this one pretty quick. But this is from MeetGeek, which is my VA that joins, right? That always tells us we have a few minutes left.
Yes.
So I just use their API, make the request to go grab individual meeting information, highlights, meeting summary, and then transcripts. And the transcripts actually use pagination. So Quentin, Jason, and Shimon helped last time with figuring this out. It takes the transcript and actually puts it so that it's like the relative time, the speaker, and then what they said, where this eventually gets put together, downloaded into Google Drive as the transcripts. Nothing crazy there. But then this LLM goes through and looks for anything that I need to do. So any kind of task that I committed to, or I said I would do, things that I need to follow up on. And then eventually that gets input into both Notion and NoCodeDB.
Nice. Good.
Yeah.
I like the twist at the end, the Notion and the NoCodeDB over there. That's actually nice. That's not bad at all.
So this is all of my meetings, right? All of the Zoom calls that I'm in that my VA joins. And then really the second part is this right here, which what it does is I just have it right now on a time trigger and probably should use a webhook. Jason, I was showing him this yesterday, and he pointed out I probably use a webhook. That's a more sophisticated way rather than just the 10-minute call. But what happens is it goes in and it's going to grab the meeting that just finished and then classify it as either a discovery call, a one-on-one call, group call, partnership call, or a friend call. So it's going to classify it into one of those 5 different categories. And then the tone of voices it's using, these top 4 are professional ones. This one is a personal one. And so it drafts the response for my discovery calls to be sent. And then these ones I still, this one I've started working on, but yeah, these other ones, I'm not sure how I want. The friend one works, but these 2 I haven't done yet. Oops, sorry. But yeah.
Can you call? You mentioned about a webhook. Can you call actually a webhook from MeetGeek? Like how would you do the trigger on the webhook then?
Yeah, so MeetGeek does have a webhook.
Mm-hmm. Okay, all right. Okay. Good. Yeah.
And so that's what calls right here.
All right. Okay, I see it. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so the eventual goal, the next automation that I have set up here, cruise through it, is to move the meeting over into a second table that I have that is for deal tracking. So if it was a discovery call, it puts it into a meeting table, but then it also creates an entry into a deal tracking table so that I can start tracking all of my discovery calls, proposals that are written, where does the deal die? Does it die in the proposal stage or negotiations, wherever? So this is going to go through, and then it also decides it's going to get all the meetings, look at the discovery call, and pull out a bunch of different features or fields from it.
Mm-hmm.
and then determine whether or not a proposal is warranted and needs to be written. So this is kind of going all back to what Quentin has shared of automating your non-billable hours. And that's what really this is directed towards, is being able to have proposals automatically drafted if necessary. If not, draft the email for a follow-up call. But yeah, trying to streamline everything that is before actually getting the contract signed. So
yes. And this is a very, like, if you want to pitch anything to a business, is that like the key word that you have to use is actually non-billable hours, right? Like, how many non-billable hours are you spending every week, right? That's the keyword that you have to use over there. That's gonna, if you speak to a CEO, for example, as soon as you say that, like, you can, like, they already have your wallet, their wallet open, and say, okay, take my money and I want to work with you. So if you understand this and you solve this problem, that's actually, that's very, very important right there. So that's good. Amazing, amazing, Chase. A lot of builds actually, a lot of builds done so far. Did you actually end up to do the proposal on N8 yet, or?
So I'm getting to that next part. Let's see. So proposal, this looks like crap, but yes, I have started on it.
Yeah.
And then I'll show you guys one other really cool one that I'm working on here. This is actually for writing voice bots. So that if people are interested in it, it'll automatically write them. And so what I did was, like, Terrell and Lenny are two of the guys that are in the space. They have the Voice AI Accelerator. They had 8 different templates for voice bots, different types of them. So I took all of those, and then I had the LLM write me, hey, how would you create voice bots? So that's what this one is. And then I'm going to do the same with like Alejo and Page, with Mark Tomlin, like some of the other voice bot people. So the idea behind it is that if a voice bot is warranted, it'll go through this flow here. It'll actually create 4 or 5 different prompts based on some of the leaders in the industry. And then I can test those out. And the best of them is what I'd send over to the client and be like, hey, here, I made a demo for you.
All right. Yeah. Amazing. Yeah. Amazing.
Kind of
and this actually, so voice bot writer, like, and like, but this is what, to write the prompts?
Yeah. So to write the prompts and then also to create the knowledge databases for them.
Right. Okay. I see. Amazing.
So
amazing. Wow. That's a lot of build. Like, I can see, Chase. That's good. That's good.
I don't make YouTube videos or lead a school community, so I got time to build.
It's true. Actually, yeah. It's true. It's true. But good. Congratulations. I'll show quickly. We have like 30 minutes left. I'll show quickly my progress as well, and then we'll see from there. Share. So, so a quick way. I'm solving a problem for myself first, obviously, but I'm planning to potentially, if I manage to get and package this nicely together, I'm going to actually potentially package something like a CRM slash invoice creation slash dashboards. So I have 3 problems on my side. I have actually my proposal creation. It's one separate workflow. That means that I have actually one Airtable. I'm still on Airtable. I don't have any system out there. And people were saying, oh, use actually go high level and stuff like this. I just feel it's I don't know. I feel it's I'm not used to have a CRM to start with, and I feel it's all over the place. So one issue is that actually my onboarding is actually on Airtable. My invoice is actually being tracked on an Airtable as well, but then I have PLN, so Polish zloty, and I actually USD. I have actually one client in Poland, which actually is 70% of my 60%, as we speak, 60 to 70% of the income. And then I have actually all the others. Can be session, can be actually automation, could be whatever. It's in dollars, right? So I don't have a dashboard. If you ask me how much I did for January, it would actually take me some time to go through all the invoice sent over. And so I don't have a place. Everything is centralized, everything is automated. So as soon as a Stripe payment is actually arrived, then actually the information is being extracted to an Airtable. So my invoicing is actually automated. I don't do any of the invoicing manually. The only invoice manual that I have to do is the local client, because they pay to my bank account directly, not using Stripe. So that's another issue. And then the proposal creation is another issue. It's another Airtable. I mean, it's all the same table, but it's one table, but I have like multiple base. So it's the same base, multiple table. I just don't like it. So I'm trying to actually work on I'm trying to work actually on a CRM over there, where I would actually integrate as well. I would actually potentially integrate some of the, so I can actually add task over there. I can actually add, I'd like to next is actually the proposal creation. And I'd love to actually package this in a way, again, package this for you guys if you wanted to use it. But like you would actually have a CRM that's actually been think for AI automation. when I go high level and I see it's all over the place, I can do whatever I want, but they are related to specifically sales, in my opinion, not really systematic system as we use for automation. So that's actually what I'm working in the background over, I don't know, I started 2 weeks ago. So maybe something you'll see coming soon. It's going to be obviously API open. Like you're going to have access, like the API would actually be, like you're going to have the code, basically the code's going to be over there. The way I see it, I don't know, code's going to be available. You can deploy it if you wanted to. Everything is actually automated. You can actually go through and access all the data via API. That's actually been one of the biggest projects so far that I've been working on. So we'll see from there. And so Christian had a nice question, and then not only Christian, actually everybody reached out to me, say, how can I deploy this on GitHub? And I know people were actually wanted to have this. So I think maybe we can take this information from there, and how do we host the web page? I have 25 minutes left. I don't believe I'll be able to do within 25 what I wanted to do, which is actually deploying. I don't know if you saw, but they actually, Max and Umnia has been actually flying to Dubai last week, and they've actually made an inbox management using Unipile, one of the API that was actually mentioned before, to actually manage the inbox. I think it's a good idea to take this project maybe and deploy it, but I don't believe I can do that in 25 minutes because we have Pocketbase, which basically Pocketbase is another database. Advantage of Pocketbase, if you think about it's a database, right? It's a backend database coded in Rust, which is a very fast, low-level programmatic language. So it's not Python. It's a very, very fast. It's the advantage of actually, I think Rust or Golang. I don't remember how was it actually created. But the idea of Pocketbase was that like when it was released first 2 years ago, this was actually one file that served as your database, and it's extremely fast compared to a Postgres database, for instance. But deploying this would actually take some time. I think I can either try to deploy it and I can do a follow-up session on the next call maybe, or I can just take something that I've already done on Windsurf. If you remember the I did this actually using the gym. So if I open a folder, so I'm going to show you something. Maybe I'll do this and then we'll do a follow-up session maybe for this one. Co-build fitness app. I think this was the one. So we have this is an XJS application, right? So nothing difficult over there. I mean, nothing special. Let me do npm run dev. And I want to see how this looks like. So you don't have to look into the code. We're not going through the code today. I just want to go specifically to the deployment of it, right? That's exactly what I did back in December, which I forget to start the recording, and I think I'm not recording this session either. So congratulations, Quentin. Amazing, amazing. You know? Oh my gosh, I think I'm recording the session, but I'm unsure. But it's hopefully you guys have the recording available, and maybe you can send that over to me. I'm so tired of this recording on Zoom. But anyway, so bottom line, this is supposed to be hooked to what's it called? A webhook URL from. Do I have this somewhere? How did I did that? Okay, fair enough. I said we're not going to spend time on the yes, I need to look into response model, webhook form, response model. I think that's the model over there. I need to look into, I'll have to look into, but I'm just playing on the deployment as we speak, okay? So first of all, Qualify allow you to do CI/CD deployment, right? So coming from a DevOps background, okay, when the client say, I want to do CI/CD, this is where a couple of years ago, you would actually have, oh shit, you want a CI/CD, my gosh. We only had the chance, like the only way we had back at the time was to play with Kubernetes. You might have actually heard about it. Kubernetes is actually very complex for no reason. It's actually an orchestration of Docker, right? So basically, Kubernetes, it's enterprise setup ready, which allow you to actually spin Docker containers in a rolling update, we call it. So a rolling update means that, let's say, on your strategy, on the configuration file strategy for Kubernetes, you can actually have, let's say, 2 Dockers, right? You have 2 legs. When we do a rolling update, that means that the system will decommission 1 leg. So the application is still running, but on 1 leg. So it's a little limb, right? It's limbing a little bit, but still working. And what it does is like when you push the new code, a new Docker container starts, okay? Once the new container starts, what's happening is that we have a health check, and I can go through health check at one point because we do that on Qualify. There's a health check happening. And once the application confirms that, yes, I've started, everything is fine, I'm connected to the database, everything is okay, what the system do is that it decommission the last leg, and now we are actually on the Docker container, the newest Docker container, so we have the new code. And we have a second Docker starting as well, so we have the 2 legs back up and running. That's actually how we manage to do a rolling update. So that means that no downtime. When you push a code to the application, the system doesn't like you as a user, doesn't actually feel the downtime, okay? So that's actually one point. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to GitHub. I'm gonna create a repository, okay? And then I can see from there, so I'm gonna create a new one. And I'm gonna call this co-build fitness, right? Sorry, okay, so fitness, co-build March, right? March demo, I'm gonna do it private. I'm gonna create a repository over there. What's happening now, I have actually this debrief information over there. That's okay. We're gonna go to, I'm gonna go to Windsurf. If I do git remote status, Can I do status? Git, I'm gonna have to do actually over there. I'm gonna do git remote remove origin, because I already have actually, I can see how can I tell? I can already see I have a git. I have actually a git over there. So what I'm gonna do, I have a git ignore, so that means I've already initiated a git. Okay, we're just gonna go and I'm showing how you can actually do this. Obviously, you don't have to remember all the comments, all the git comments. Basically, what I'm doing here, I'm just doing a git remote remove origin, right? Git remote remove origin, which will actually allow me to now go through the whole setup of the GitHub. So I'm gonna put this on the side. And basically what I have to do is I'm just gonna copy this link over there. And I'm gonna go and say, okay, so I wanna do a git status just to see, okay, everything is okay. I'm on git on main branch, that's okay, that's fine. We're gonna get git add, and I'm gonna actually pass the link over there. So git remote add origin, right? So basically now the system is linked to this repository over there, okay? What I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna do a git push origin main. And you don't have to do this by command line, it's just that like it's way faster. If you ask me how to use the source control over there, no idea. I don't know which button you have to push. I just do the init, so the initialization of the GitHub. That's actually how you do it. Like those commands is what you need to do. And then all I'm doing every time is either I'm doing a git status, can I type here, git status on my terminal, right? Or git add, or a git commit, or you would actually git checkout if you want to make a branch, stuff like that. Anyway, that's not the purpose of this. Right now, what I wanted to do is, if I refresh, my code is now being actually deployed over there, right? Very, very important if you want to deploy this. There's actually one point. If you start doing coding like this, okay? If you do windsurf cursor, right, the application looks like it's working. The ultimate test, in order to have it working with qualifier, is that you need to do git run build. Git, not git, npm run build, sorry. You want to ensure that your application is actually building properly. A build is actually basically what's happening now. The system is compressing. I'll show you how I'm doing this. On my repository. I'll show you something. I don't know, OC API maybe. I made a commit change. Yeah, and okay, that's the wrong one. I want to show you how I'm actually podcast. Maybe this one transcript. Let me see. No, one commit. No. Okay, that's an init commit. That's okay. Tone of voice maybe. I don't know. I wanted to show you something over there. Yeah. Okay. What I used to do on my side is that whenever I'm building and I want to have a checkpoint, I'm just putting an emoji over there. So I know if something happened, I know that on February 2, 2025, this code over there worked. Like this code worked fully, 100%. All the applications were tested. All the features on the application were tested. So that's my checkpoint over there. I'm not saying that you should do that. I'm just explaining that this is how I do it on my side. I want to keep track. I'm never putting an emoji anywhere. I'm just using an emoji whenever I want to save like a checkpoint over there. So I'm going to go back to the fitness code build March, right? So we have the application there. The application is working, which you see here. This is a page. So this is my local page. I'm going to have to rerun. Like, I don't have to rerun it, but it was working over there. You saw how the page looks like. I'm going to restart the dev server. Let me see from there. So if I refresh the page now, we will actually see, okay, I can put a submit. I have an email. I have the weight, like the height, the current weight, and total target weight, okay? Again, the idea of this app, like the idea of today's session is not how we build this page. What I want you to understand is that how do you actually use and push this from a GitHub, right? How do you host this page that's currently being running on localhost, which is my machine? How do I make it available online, okay? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go to qualifier, AI Automation Guild, very important over there. Your project, very important. Go into the project folders you want, can be make automate, like whatever. In my case, I'm going to build it into AI Automation Guild, okay? And I'm going to create new. There is actually two ways to integrate with qualifier. If you find something online, like in this case, this that I'm going to deploy, link it out. This is actually open. That means that it's actually open source. I don't have to be logged in as Max to get access. This is not the private repository, bottom line, right? You can literally take this and go to public repository, choose your server, and pass the GitHub URL to deploy it. I'm not saying it will work. I'm saying that this is how you can potentially deploy it. In this case, I'm actually doing a private repository. So this is nobody has access besides myself, right? So private repository in this case, I'm going to choose a server, and then this is how you have actually two schools to choose from. You can actually have one repository, one application, or you can actually have one application, many repositories. Right? If you do it the first method, that's the most secure way. If something happened to that application, they don't have access to your full repository, right? So that's actually what I started to use. And then I say, okay, fair enough. I don't want to actually add a new application, but basically what you would have to do, you would actually have to go to GitHub app, so add a new application, name it the application you want. So for this case, I'm going to do one at a time. So you're going to see the full ID. So I'm going to call this fitness March. I'm going to click on continue over there. I'm going to choose my second, like the domain name, and I'm actually going to click on register now. This will actually ask my user passkey, right? Okay, let me confirm this. Right, okay. I'm going to have to give a name, GitHub app name. So that's the name of my repository application that I want to give, right? So I'm going to create this one over there. And now being redirected over there. So that's the application has been created. Okay, I'm going to have to go through the whole process again. I'm going to call repository over there. I'm going to choose a server. And now if I go to fitness March, I actually have it over there. And I didn't do the full setup, actually. Let me go back to the fitness March. Fitness over there. I need to actually add install repository on GitHub. This is actually the last step. Sorry, I missed one step. This is the last step you need to do. You need to select the repository, right? And I'm going to select the repository that I want. So in this case, March. I think I have it somewhere over there. Yes, complete March. So now this application only has access to this repository. It's actually way more secure. I'm not saying that something will happen. I just don't know. I like to do it this way. So potentially, it's a little more heavier to manage, to maintain. Hence why I moved. If you look into it, I moved to an old repository, old repo over there. But if you wanted to do it this way, like if you deploy a repository for your client, you would actually do one repository per client, basically. So in this case, I'm going to choose Fitness March. The system has access to the repository. It loads the repository already. I only have one. So I can click on Load Repository now. And we're going to leave because it's a Next.js React application. You don't have to change anything, right? You only have an option to Nixpacks, which actually allows the system will detect automatically that it's actually a Next.js or a React application. So you have nothing to do. And over here, you also have Dockerfile and Docker Compose. So when you look into a repository, so for example, I'm looking to this one, which I don't know. I can go to the front end. I can tell you that this is an Next.js application, but little twist over there, I have a Dockerfile being proposed. Like I have a Dockerfile being actually proposed over there. So I could potentially try to deploy it using a Dockerfile instead of Nixpacks in this case. For my application, because it's an Next.js, I don't have a Dockerfile. So if I go to the code here, I don't have a Dockerfile over there. And we can go to a Dockerfile on another session. That would actually be interesting as well to do a deployment of a Dockerfile. But basically for now, Next.js, Nixpacks as a build pack, that's all. I'm gonna click on continue. And now I can call this, I can name this if I want it, Fitness March. I'm gonna leave the domain name created automatically by qualifier. Progress right now, it's run for 49 seconds. It's still building as we speak. The application is still becoming like it's still downloading the application, downloading all the package, doing an npm installed on the VPS itself. So everything is being actually worked out by qualifier automatically, just by looking into my repository, right? They look into this. They say, oh, okay, I have a package, Johnson. Let me see. All those are the code, the dependency that I need for the code to work, right? And the system is figuring this out automatically. There is one point I wanted to mention. Like this is one of the last step over there, right? Like soon this is gonna be green and we should actually be accessing the page. There is one point over there. I'll take an example. If I read this repository over there, this is a repository, the link it out over there. I'm going to go maybe to the front end and have something called env.example, right? When you have this, that means that what you need to do, you need to rename this file from env.example to .env. Like you need to remove the .example over there. And you push that obviously to, you don't push that to GitHub. You never push the env file to GitHub, right? Leave the env.example on your code when you run it on the machine. You need to actually rename this .env, right? You never push the env to GitHub because it's contained on your PID, right? But the reference over there, I don't know if you saw this, it's working over there. Let me actually go to the log. Do I have logs? I don't have logs. You see here, so it's trying to build, right? That's okay. Do I have the env? I want to show you the env. Yes, okay. You see on environment.env. Qualify under the hood, create an env file automatically. The reference of those env file, so here, those are variable coming from the env file, are coming from configuration environment variable. You can go to the developer view, and basically what you would actually have to do, let's say I was deploying this application, and I need an env file to work. I would actually copy this over there, and I would just replace basically this by my URL, by my pocket-based URL, and in this case, my N8 URL webhook. Okay, so I just wanted to understand where you define your env file, and never push your env file to GitHub. So now this application is running over there. So if I look into the log, I can see that everything is fine. The application started, right? So I can go if I'm going to this link over there. Now I have the application being actually, you can access this application. I'm not saying it will do anything, but if you access this application on the chats, you will actually have access to it. It's actually being hosted and accessible for you guys. I wanted to show you one more thing, continuous deployment. So over there, I have one deployment ongoing, right? I'm going to do something that we call like a CI/CD trigger. So basically what I'm going to do, I'm going to git commit dash allo empty. And you see over there, I have already an alias created. So every time I'm doing a build, right? So git commit allo empty. All right. And now what I can do is I can do a git push origin main, right? What's happening now is that I didn't do any modification on the code. I'm just triggering a commit just to see if the CI/CD is working. You see here now the system has detected, okay, continuous push a change. If I'm looking into into this business fitness march, I should actually have 4 commits, right? My last commit is this one. And now qualify started actually queued this and started I had the building progress. If you go to the application, if I go to this page over there, where is over there? This application is still working. I can still work. While the system is deploying, as you see, is deploying a bit of the code. Right now, it's still working, right? This is actually the beauty of qualify. You now have like CI/CD deployments option available, like you see over there, holding updates started, a new container started, removing the old containers. And now the application, let's say I would like to modify the colors of the page, the colors of the page will have changed, right? So that's actually how CI/CD is being actually maintained and provided by qualify. You don't even realize it, but you have like a full Kubernetes at one point, a very complex enterprise ready with your VPS of $6. So that's a very, very powerful holding updates over there. I wanted to quickly mention as well something about, let me find a project. Let me find a project. Do I have a project? No. Do I have a project that's, yes, I have a project. Okay, so I'm using actually a URL container for all the YouTube video over there, so I'm able to redirect people where I want. And basically over there, I have a compose file. This is, so you have actually 2 types. You have Docker file and Docker compose. I'm not going to go through each, what's the difference between, but let's say you want to bundle your application with a Postgres database that already has your database table, plus a Redis instance that's connecting between each other, and your front-end application, you actually do Docker compose. If it's just one application, and you're connecting to an external database outside of Docker, it will be a Docker file. So in this case, the Docker compose, every time I'm doing an update, every time I'm doing a push on the I don't see the log over there, but like you see over there, like I have Shrink and I have Shrink Web, which basically is the true service running on the Docker compose. I mentioned about health check. This is the health check. The health check now is actually trying to access, first of all, see if I have access to CMD, which is a comment on the Docker CLI. I want to see if I can actually then access curl, and I want to curl this information. I want to curl this URL over there. This is something that you put on the code right away, just to see whenever this return OK or 200, and you mentioned OK on your browser, that means that the application is started and the application is healthy. That means that the Docker containers is started and everything is working fine. So that's actually Docker, this is how we do the holding update basically. If this URL were not accessible, it will mark the Docker as uneasy. That's actually what you potentially see when you do a reboot of your no-code DB, for example, or your qualify. This is what you will actually see. Where is this? It's March over there. You see, I mentioned uneasy state because I've rebooted, like the system has rebooted multiple times in a period of time, and it's actually telling you, okay, you are in an uneasy state, and so therefore I mark it as uneasy. It's working. That's a false positive we call, but it's actually uneasy as we speak, potentially because the system is trying to probe the URL at one point and turns out that the URL were not accessible at the time. So that's actually how we do GitHub deployment on VPS in qualify in 29 minutes. Easy. I mean, I think it's all over the place, but like what you need to do is first like dissect this into a small piece, easy piece to understand. First, upload your code to GitHub. Never upload your INV file. That's the first thing. Never upload your INV file in GitHub. As soon as you upload your INV file, rotate your API because potentially it will always be there. It's like it will stay forever. So bottom line, rotate your API. Never upload an INV file. Upload your code to GitHub. Once you have it deployed to GitHub, add an application to your qualify. So GitHub and qualify talk together. And then what you do, you actually create a private repository, link the private repository to your qualify, and push the code or retrigger your code. So how to retrigger the code, like how to retrigger the build is that you do actually a git commit allo empty, so dash allo empty dash m for message, and then we put the build message over there. And then you have actually your application that's been remotely accessible. Like you need one project. I can send you. I think I did upload it somewhere. I can send this code over there if you want to train on something that's actually not very critical. I give you this front-end page code over there. Let's read out your JS React using ChatCN. So it's a very nice code. We code this in an hour on the code, but it's a nice structure on the folders. That's actually what I used to do on my demo. So I'll zip the code. I'll zip the code and I'll zip the code, and I'll send that over. I'll send that over to you guys. If you want to practice on this, that's like the application is already building. Like it's built properly. Like you can literally push this and have it working. And you can practice with this. I think maybe it's a good idea actually. Just so you have an application, like an easy application to do, an easy website to do. And then if you want to play around, you have like a base, a dog walking service. Like that's a good product. That's a good product actually. Yes, it's a dog. Like I think there's a name for this. I just don't know in English how that's called, but someone is actually walking a dog. Like to be a good dog walker or whatever.
Cheese will figure out.
Yes, and thank you, Quentin. Yeah, if you could send that zip and send it over, that'd be awesome to play with.
Yes, I'll send that over. I'll send that over as we speak, and then we see from there. I'm gonna zip it now, and so I'm not forgetting about it.
Wait for making any GitHub app on our server. That's what I want to do.
Sorry, say again, Sana, what was the question?
Is it the same deployment process for the one that I want to do for the NCA?
Yes, 100%. That's the same. That's the same. You have to go through GitHub, and then you deploy from the GitHub, you deploy from there. So yeah, that's actually how you would like to do that.
Okay.
I just put into the copy, like I put the zip file, like uploading. Maybe I'll just make a good write, maybe. It's uploading on the chat if you guys want to pick it up. But yeah, that's actually how you could deploy. And this, just FYI, like, we just need to find out where did I put this bloody, I think it's on the app. No, it's actually on the UI. Can I search? Can I search? I don't have all the file actually open. I can actually tell you where to modify. We just need to actually response model. We just need to find out where is the I think it's on the submission form. Maybe I need to find out, but there is actually this is linked to a webhook on your NA. All you have to do is just change for your webhook actually instead of mine. But I'll find out. I'll let you know on the I'll upload this maybe on the school if you guys want to practice on this, and then I'll tell you where to change the webhook, and so you can actually map this out to the workflow. I think I still have the workflow somewhere. If I go to NA and I go to fitness magnets, yes. That's literally it. Like it's a webhook going to an OpenAI. I'm responding over there and then I'm pushing everything to a table. So I think I've already mentioned. Thanks, Max. So I can literally take this and upload that on the school, in the class school, so you guys can practice with this and maybe if you manage to upload it and have it display on your GitHub, then post on the school community. Then yes, you actually have a request.
I see that there's this NCP, it's like NCP in Parser just going viral, and I don't know, I'm sick of just reading about it on Twitter. Like every post is about NCP. So could you like maybe help us set it up and see the benefits of it? Like, I know this is very powerful. I just don't, like, I haven't done it myself, and I just want to get interested in setting it up.
Right. I need to go through. I haven't found any use case in my opinion. Like, to be honest, I don't care if my Windsurf or Kipsurf can access any post. I don't give a damn when I'm coding. I'm not just need to go to Reddit, right? The only point is, so the only way I'm going to share my screen quickly. What I have, whenever I'm deploying, whenever I'm done, like I'm creating some stuff. Let me see here. Where is? How did I name this? Good call. Model example, yes, exactly. Not model example. Anyway, I have actually a script. I'm actually copying this from folders to folders, basically. But what I do, what it does, it's kind of the same as NCP. It's a Python script that will actually, for example, extract information from my database. Whenever I'm making an API, right? Whenever, so NCP case. So whenever I'm doing okay, all right, maybe not this, but like basically every time I'm coding something for the API, those are the table of my API. The API I made for you guys, like we have like the API key, the transcript over there, your CN API, like all this table, all this database, I need to be, in order to have it like unified, so in order to have one API key working for all the API I'm making, I need to point out to this table and I need to make it, I need to make the code understand my table structure. Like this is the only use case I would see for NCP, because right now I have a Python script, and this Python script will, and I'll put everything on my terminal, so then the system know, okay, now I understand the table structure, this is how I would actually code this out there, right? Beside this, I haven't found anything useful, but I have so many bookmarks on Twitter about it that I'll go through actually. It sounds powerful. I have actually a lot of people telling me, oh yeah, I'm using those 10. Here's the 10 NCP I'm using every day. I still have actually a hard time understanding why would you use an NCP, which basically add context to your cursor or Windsurf beside the table database or beside the database access. Like, why would you use this?
The reason that I was getting interested in it, like, and I don't know if this would be helpful, would be because I'm imagining setting up a lot of automations inside the extension, and then like, all different types of workflows. So if you're working with certain things, you might want certain access to certain data. So I'm just wondering, like, I mean, if you could run this.
Yes. So the two NCP I found, I could find helpful. Because I did some research, like I want to test this one. At one point, I want to test it. Everybody says it's amazing. I can see the trend on Google going up.
Yeah, quickly.
Yeah, it's the same as the agent. I'm actually hosting a little bit of the agent on the next YouTube video. But basically, the point is like it's like I'm tired of I made the agent, and then when I look into the agent, there's like one tool to make it, and the tool is not used. It's even mentioned your tool was not used during this workflow existed. So and the guy is making a video about the agent. So the point is it's a little it's a good part. But on the NCP side, two one that I have on my wish list that I want to use is actually access to my database. That's important, and then access to my console. Meaning that I can actually now when I'm doing front-end development, and I like to be what's called pixel perfect. So if I say spacing is actually 4 px, so 4 pixel, that's the standard we use for data I use. So if an increment of a pixel is actually 10 and not 12, that's not pixel perfect. So it needs to be 12 on the left side and 12 on the right side. If I'm actually giving NCP access to my web console, then the system can see on the Firefox or Chrome console, the system could actually understand the code. I can actually have console output debug as well, so it's faster to debug at one point. But I'll make a video maybe on the classroom on NCP. It's on my to-do. I have a lot of bookmarks on there. So,
I think for you, like for YouTube, like, it's always good to catch the trends.
Yeah. I have my first years. I have the first years like on YouTube. I love it. The guys telling me that I'm actually a try-hard guru trying to catch the trend with clickbait titles. So I don't know whoever is actually Magnet 508. I'm making life for one day. I had a good time. So but no, this is right. NCP. I think NCP. Maybe because I haven't tried it. That I'm not super like I don't know, but I'm gonna try. It's definitely something I wanted to try on my stuff. And
I don't know as well, so that's why I was trying to understand the use case.
What I've been working on is what I didn't mention. I didn't work on something. Is this machine? Yes, it's in machine. Yes. I think it's C. This machine is C.
Yes.
Okay. So basically, I'm running actually agent. Do I have it over there? Yeah, I don't have it yet. I'm still working on this. It's not working as we speak. But basically, there's actually from a Hitesh request where imagine if you have actually like how to understand what will become popular or not on like with agent. Like for example, I'm simulating how the social media behaviors works in this case reader. What I want to do is actually what I'm doing over there is like it's a Python as we speak, but like right now the system will actually try like it's installing all the dependency that I need to know to have it run. And now what it's gonna do is it's gonna ask me, okay, give me the version of your content A, and I'm doing A/B testing with actually on the simulation. So basically I'm doing a test 1, right? I'm gonna do test 2 or test 1, and then I'm gonna add an emoji over there. And now I can see okay how many agents you want. So I'm gonna do an agent of actually I have only 110 agents available, so I'm gonna do 100 agents. Timestamps gonna be 5 minutes. And now the system, this is where it's gonna crash, but the system now gonna create whatever I need to create and actually return me some visualization on what is supposed to perform better on Twitter in this case. So that's actually A/B testing for Twitter. I've seen this. So I was working on this last week, and I've seen 2 dudes, 17 years old, they actually made something similar, and they say, hey, you know what? If you want to buy this, I'm on Google Call. You just click on these links, and they had so many. They sold for 24 hours. They sold for $36,000. And the 2 dudes stayed on the Google Meet for 9 hours. They were actually saying, hey, we finished on the call. If you want to jump up on and we'll send you the system. So sometimes I don't understand marketing, I guess, but good for them. So we'll see how that worked. I found it quite interesting. I managed to make it work. It ran over there based on simulation. I just want to now. I want to be able to have like an A/B testing, and I'd like to see actually. Imagine if I make an A/B testing of the post, and somehow the A/B testing is actually working, and I have something that actually go not viral, but like perform better than usual. That would actually be amazing. I think that would be nice.
How are you going to test the accuracy of the system?
The accuracy of these based on the agent. So basically, there I have data sets. Those are actually agents created. Like I have 110 agents. Those are users basically. And those are real users that actually scrape on Twitter that has different bio, different like whatever. So the agent is actually working based on real username information provided. Those are extracting information from user, right? And it can be like I have Spanish, I have English, I have computer science, I have tech guys, I have marketing, philosophy guys, CEO, PhD, whatever. Like I have a bunch of people that has different bio, and that's actually how the system applies. This is how the agent is working. Basically applying the prompt is saying, okay, you are a person, simulate that, pick a user, random user, and simulate that user over there. Like you are understanding that person basically. Will actually be accurate. I don't know. Like the next step, the real use case, the real step is that if it's telling me okay, version B is gonna perform better than A, then I'm gonna take version B and I'm gonna post it online and then see from there. If I have an average view on Twitter of I don't know 50 people and this one perform and do I have 200, okay, that works. That's an improvement. Right? So we'll see. That's the idea. That's what. So yeah, we'll see from there. All right.
Have you actually used Cloud Coding, or how it's called?
I haven't actually used it yet. I'm using Cloud 3.7, but I haven't actually done the code coding. I'm not. I think you need to, in order to get cloud coding,